ComHit.
So I am going to turn the stage over to Chief Donato and Deputy Chief Shaw. And these men are nationally recognized first responder champions, as most of you know. And luckily, they work right here in Florida, and ComHit has the honor of working closely with them. Fire Chief Daryl Donato brings 44 years of dedicated service to fire rescue, including 23 years with Riviera Beach Fire Rescue and 20 years with Palm Beach, Florida Fire Rescue. For his selfless and visionary work that's transformed Florida's first response, Chief Donato was honored as the 2016 Florida Fire Chiefs Association Fire Chief of the Year, and also the recipient of the Emergency Medical Services Lifetime Achievement Award in 2017. And just last year, he started building out the town of Jupiter Fire Rescue Department from the ground up. And Chief Donato, he holds his MBA from Florida Atlantic University. We thank Chief Donato for championing legislative initiatives to enhance community safety as well as the profession's future, and working with ComHit to create a healthy day-to-day workforce that serves communities and public health emergencies. And after 24 years with Fort Lauderdale Fire Rescue, Deputy Chief Stephen Shaw decided to combine forces with Chief Donato to build the town of Jupiter Fire Rescue Department. Deputy Chief Shaw brings 29 years of fire rescue expertise. He's an accredited Chief Fire Officer and soon-to-be Executive Fire Officer. He's a hazmat specialist for FEMA, Urban Search and Rescue Task Force 2, and a member of the International Association of Fire Chiefs Hazmat Committee. He holds a degree in chemistry, so we're going to have to talk about that later, I think, and business administration from Florida Atlantic University. He's also a registered nurse. He serves as the lead of ComHit's statewide community paramedicine zone that helps fire rescue agencies statewide operationalize and expand mobile integrated health programs. He's an accomplished author, speaker, and host of the Perspectives on Leadership podcast, and he's also a proud husband and father of two. So with that, I give you Chief Donato and Deputy Chief Shaw.
Where are we going, Kendra? Here?
Yeah. You want to, you can sit there, go up there, anything you want.
Steve, have a seat. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for giving us an opportunity to come here and just share with you a little bit. Again, my name's Daryl Donato, and I have the great fortune of being the fire chief in the town of Jupiter, where we're starting a fire department from the ground up, from nothing, 3-station, 100-plus folks, and it's really an exciting opportunity. I've been doing this a really long time, should be retired, but who could pass up an opportunity to create a fire department out of nothing? So I just want to, before I get into what we want to talk about is the apprenticeship area, I just want to talk about the value of you being here today. So, you know, you're here today and you're going to have this opportunity to meet people, interact with people, get to know people, develop relationships. So for me, I get to sit next to this guy right here, Steve Shaw, because of this person right here, Kendra, right? And you're like, why Kendra, right? At least 15 or more years ago, I met Kendra through the EMS world, where she was doing a lot of work with health information exchanges. And we ran into each other somewhere along the way, and I was talking to her about this need for us to have an apprenticeship program, and she said, we can help you with that. Why don't you come to my meeting? I have a meeting coming up at the Space Center. So I come up here to the Space Center for this meeting, and here at this meeting, where they're talking a lot about community health initiatives, is Steve. And I run into Steve. And because of that interaction, Steve now works at Jupiter, and I get to work with Steve. And again, it comes from this type of networking that you're doing here today, from meeting people, getting to know people, and the value of how everybody can come together to achieve some things. So thank you, Kendra, for what you do, for what you're doing to help the fire service, and for introducing me to Steve. So I appreciate it. So. And so again, this venture started with the Florida Fire Chiefs Association has been pushing to get an apprenticeship program for the fire service in Florida. We know that there's workforce-related issues. All of you are experiencing workforce-related issues. Those issues are really significant from the I-4 corridor north. It's getting harder and harder to find people that are interested in this work. You can't be a firefighter paramedic on your iPhone. You have to actually put your hands on people. You have to do things. You have to have mechanical skills, mechanical ability. And it's getting tougher and tougher for us to find folks to do that. And so we're exploring all kinds of options, and one of those options has been apprenticeships. We have this thought, this kind of vision, that somewhere out there, there's somebody who, when they got out of high school, they got a job doing something they didn't love, and then they got married and they had a kid, and they have to pay the bills, but they're doing something they didn't love. And who doesn't love being a firefighter? So if we could help them get into this business, they can't afford to because they got to pay their bills. If we could help them get into this business, they'd be in a job they love, they'd be loyal, great employees, they would provide incredible care to the community. And all we need to do is find a way to get them the training they need while keeping their bills paid. And so apprenticeships are that natural fit. They're an opportunity for us to introduce folks to a job, give them the hands-on skills they need, the online and classroom training they need, the mentorship that they need through that process, the initial training to get them prepared to go out and provide the service to the public, and do all that while they're still getting a paycheck. And so, we shared that thought with Kendra. Kendra has helped us with that, and I'll get the numbers wrong because I'm old and I can't remember, but she's attained a federal grant for an apprenticeship program here in Florida for firefighter EMT, for firefighter paramedic, for a number of other things, right? And this is an amazing first step, and we're going to be working with Kendra and ComHIT to expand this greatly. But if you're not aware of this program, you really need to take some time to talk to her about how this program could help your community. We're looking to expand this program as well as other programs, looking for other avenues. Apprenticeships are becoming a very hot topic at a state government level. There's a pair of bills making its way through the legislature that'll pass this year that are providing more emphasis, more transparency, and more information regarding the outcomes of apprenticeship programs to the legislature. So if you haven't noticed, there's a move nationwide to bring manufacturing back to the United States. And that move requires folks that have hands-on skills and training to do that kind of work, folks that have backgrounds in science and technology and engineering, but from a hands-on perspective. And you're going to see apprenticeships become a much bigger topic. They already are. At the state level, this has become very important. It's important to the governor. And he's been working on this for probably 6 years now, I think. It's been a priority for him because he foresaw what was coming in this country and the need for these programs. And the fire service needs to be a part of this. The EMS service needs to be a part of this because just like manufacturing, it's not something we see a lot of young people getting out of high school and running to. We're not seeing the people that are running to our business like they used to. But we have this ability to take folks who are out there doing a job now that they don't love and to give them a career and a job they love that's well-paying, well-funded, that will take care of them for the rest of their life. And so we're going to be working again on this to expand this. We had some efforts this year to get something in the legislature. This year, the budget process didn't work out as we planned. There's quite a fight going on over the budget, and we're not able to get our line item in there this year, but we'll be back next year. And hopefully we're working with the Florida League of Cities and the Florida Deputy Sheriff's Association to do this under a partnership for public safety. We believe we'll get a $10 million line item in there next year that will just begin to start these programs. And so you need to start exploring them now for your organizations. There is Kendra's program now, and we're going to be working with her on future programs. We're also going to be working on future apprenticeship funding at the state level next year in the next budget session. But now is the time to become familiar with these processes and to set your organization up to take advantage of them. There is money right now out there. There are programs in the state. There are apprenticeship programs in the state, and our profession could be covered under them. You have to go to your local workforce. What's the name of that agency? What are they? Career Source, right? You have to go to them and talk about, hey, how can we get one of these started in our area? And they do these by region, so it's done at your local level. So, you as fire chiefs can go out there and meet with your Career Source folks and say, hey, we need to start an apprenticeship program for firefighter EMT in our region. And they have money that can go towards this. It gets allocated from one profession to another. And you can get one of these going right now in your area as well. So, but we've been working with Kendra on this issue, and we're really proud to say that it wasn't planned this way. I think we were planning somebody else was going to do this, but we were the first people to be able to sign an agreement with her, and we have apprenticeship money that's coming into the town of Jupiter now, and I'm going to turn it over to Steve to talk about what we're doing with that.
Good morning. So I think Chief Donato said it earlier, this once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And I got to tell you, the opportunities that have come over the last year, being part of Chief Donato's team and talking to a lot of people, not only in the town of Jupiter, but outside, you kind of see what that looks like. I will stop bragging about you. I always seem to brag about you and the work you're doing for the fire service. It is appreciated. I often wonder what I'm supposed to be doing with Kendra, because sometimes I don't know, but I have a feeling I've gotten to a point where I understand my role, and I think I mentioned this last meeting, is to interpret to her what the needs of the fire rescue service are, okay? And in terms of that, it's interesting because as we're talking to people in the town about the opportunity that we're going through now, and I'll talk about that in a second, it's still amazing out there that people just don't know what we do in the fire service, right? They see a fire truck roll by, they see a rescue truck roll by, but they don't know all the other stuff in that we do, the value we provide. Anyway, so long story short, in terms of this apprenticeship, it's open doors, it's open conversations. Our town manager, a phenomenal person, recognized not only this is the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to grow a fire department, but he saw that as an opportunity for people that worked for the town to have an opportunity to join the fire department in the early stages. And when we put this together, we're like, I don't know how many people are going to be interested in doing that. I have no idea. So we put together this sponsorship program. We put together this idea that we can have basically a small number of people come on board, and we would train them to be firefighters, EMTs, and then they would have a job next year when we started the fire department. And we're thinking, yeah, we'll have a handful show up, maybe 1, 2, or 3. I think we had 20 people show up for an orientation session out of curiosity, out of interest, what is this all about? And it was an eye-opening experience, not only for us, but for them, but it also gave them a platform to tell other people about the fire service and what that involved, which is huge for us right now. So again, going back to the sponsorship program, it's wonderful to be able to take these people who have never had a glimpse of the fire service. They never knew it was an opportunity. They never knew it was something they could do. And after we talked to them and showed them the vision of what this was going to be, they're like, oh, I could do that. And it's interesting because as much as this program is something we're doing here in Fort Lauderdale, or in Jupiter, default setting, I tend to say that sometimes, I'm realizing we've reached out to several other departments across the state and asking about their sponsorship programs, what they were doing, how they differed, everywhere from Lauder Hills to Miramar's to other ones across the state. And it's so interesting out there. But I think what Kendra's doing behind the scenes with this apprenticeship is she's birthing discussions. She's causing collisions. She's causing the need to have discussions and teach people what these are about, what our field is about. Anyway, it's great because now that we got this cohort together, people that we've selected, we're getting through the process of going to school right now, you can see that camaraderie happening, you see them already jiving as a team, and you can see other people asking them questions. So it's synergistic, it's growing. More people are interested, more people are getting a glimpse of what it could be to be a firefighter, an EMT, a paramedic. So as much as this is a wonderful opportunity to get some additional people into the growth stages of a fire department, it's so much more than that. So between the need for us to increase things in regards to recruitment and retention, to get more people involved at all levels, this is definitely a huge part of that, to have a spotlight on us and give people with the ability, or that don't have the abilities to go to this school, to get involved. So I could talk about this all day. I will tell you though, like I said, Kendra, I've said it multiple times. You're putting everybody here in the room together to have these discussions. Not only is what we're doing right here important, but the discussions, but the after discussions, the further conversations, the further dialogue, they're so important. And thank you for just what you're doing to help us make this vision possible. You're a huge part of this. I think that's all I wanted to say. I will say.
So I just want to share a story, right?
Oh.
Because this thing Steve's been working on and put together, really it can all be encapsulated in one story. So there's a fellow that worked for the town of Jupiter. He was a carpenter. About 8-9 years ago, he wanted to be a firefighter. He went to EMT school, fire school, got his certification, but he was married at the time. His wife got pregnant. They were having their first kid. He couldn't wait for that fire department job. Needed a job. Had to have insurance and had to pay for his newborn baby. So he took a job with the town of Jupiter as a carpenter. He's been with the town for 8 years as a carpenter. But his dream in life was to be a firefighter. His dream in life. And this program that we're partnering with Kendra on is allowing him to have his dream in life. He is now a firefighter trainee with the town of Jupiter. He's going to go to fire school. We're going to pay for it. He's going to go to EMT school. We're going to pay for it. He's going to get a paycheck the whole time. He's going to keep his insurance and benefits the whole time. He's going to be able to do what he dreamed in his entire life to be a part of, but couldn't because of that financial hurdle. And again, this program is letting him have his dream. And that is probably the best story that I've ever had in my 44-year career, is to be able to help this guy get his dream in life. And it's through these apprenticeship programs. And I'm telling you, there are people all over your communities. There are people living in your communities all over this state that would love to be a firefighter, but they can't. And these kind of programs will help them do that. And so I'd encourage you to get very, very involved in looking at apprenticeship programs in your local communities where you can be a part of giving somebody their dream in life.
All right. Another round of applause for Chief Donato and Deputy Chief Shaw.